All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Fall 2023 Investor Conference. My name is Robert Blum, Managing Partner at Lytham Partners. During this webcast, we welcome S&W Seed Company, ticker symbol of SANW on the NASDAQ. And joining us today from the company is its recently appointed CEO, Mark Herrmann. We're going to do this webcast in a fireside chat format. Before we do begin, though, I want to remind everyone that management is available for one-on-one meetings later today. If you've not already signed up and would like to schedule a one-on-one, please shoot me an email. That's Blum, B-L-U-M, at lythampartners.com, or visit the website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on that one-on-one meeting request button, and we'll look to get you taken care of. So, Mark, welcome.
Hey, good morning, Robert.
Fantastic. As I stated in my intro, you were the sort of recently appointed CEO here of S&W. Provide the audience with a little bit on your background.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. I started in the seed business a little over 35 years ago with DeKalb Seed Company. Started in sales and then moved through leadership roles into product management and business management, which included participating in the birth of biotechnology. It was an exciting time to be in the seed industry. I was involved directly in the launch of the DeKalb BT and Roundup Ready traits in the late 90s. And shortly after DeKalb was acquired by Monsanto, I had the opportunity joining Monsanto to lead the Monsanto seed brands across all crops and the trait business for the U.S. business. My experience really through that time was centered around working closely with farmers, understanding unique production needs and positioning value, working to build strong brands for both seed brands and traits, and then facing industry challenges while delivering on efficiencies. I've had the opportunity to lead the licensing business inside of Monsanto as the president of Corn States. And that was a division of Monsanto where we focused on licensing germplasm and biotech traits out to about 200 independent seed companies. It really helped solidify my understanding and belief that having breakthrough products in both traits and germplasm, the real fast and efficient way to penetrate the market is through open platform and broad licensing. After that role, I went to the Monsanto vegetable business and led North America Monsanto vegetables for about 5 years. It was based out of California. At that time, the president CEO role at AgReliant Genetics became available, and I had the opportunity to join AgReliant Genetics. AgReliant is a JV between KWS, which I believe is the 6th largest seed company, and Lima Grain, which I believe is the 5th largest global seed company. It's a JV formed by the two of them, and AgReliant Genetics would be the 3rd largest corn seed company in the U.S. And on top of really the business past, I had a great opportunity to be on the American Seed Trade Association board from 2009 until 2020, and on the executive committee for about 6 years. And then I was the chair of ASTA in 2016-17. I enjoyed that opportunity because ASTA's whole focus is how do you ensure positive policy, positive practices that enable the seed business of all types from alfalfa to zucchini to be successful in the marketplace and be able to operate. So it was a great just industrial effort to support the overall industry. But I'm excited to be here at S&W at this exciting time.
Fantastic. Thanks for that sort of background there for everyone to understand. Let's talk a little bit more about S&W now, and I want to sort of take a step back and before we sort of move to some of the future plans here. You recently reported fiscal year end 2023 financial results. Again, that's a June 30th fiscal year end. Provide some color on the results there.
Yeah, so fiscal 2023, S&W was able to successfully execute a number of the strategic initiatives that were laid out at the beginning of last year. So one, the commercial scale launch of our high value double team sorghum solution which saw sales increase from 6 to 6.5 million in 2023, compared to 2.4 million in fiscal 2022. This puts our first technology product on about 6% of the U.S. Sorghum acres in 2022. We also saw the expansion of gross margins through improvement of obsolescence costs, as well as what I just talked about with the increased sales of our high margin Double Team sorghum. And overall gross margins went from 8.9% in fiscal 2022 to 19.8% in fiscal 2023, more than doubling our gross profit margin for those years. We also saw significant reduction in operating expenses as a company looked to better align its cost structure with our key areas of focus. The overall operating expenses decreased by nearly 7 million in fiscal 2023, or about a 17% improvement, despite the growth in revenues. And then finally, we executed a partnership with Shell to develop and produce sustainable biofuel feedstocks. This partnership strengthened our balance sheet through a 7 million upfront payment to S&W and an additional 6 million that would be paid to us this February in 2024. And then the assumption of a 6.9 million debt tied to one of the facilities for a combined 20 million impact. The resulting factor of all these accomplishments was a 14.3 million improvement in adjusted EBITDA, growth in revenue, and an improved balance sheet. So that allows us to execute on our strategic plans as we look to go forward.
Fantastic. As you just touched on, and anyone that maybe hasn't followed the company of late, they sort of understand that your focus is on expanding your footprint in sorghum. You talked about some of the percents there. For those not familiar with sorghum, provide a little overview of the crop and why you believe S&W is uniquely positioned in this crop here.
Okay, sorghum, which is also known as milo, is the 5th largest cereal crop globally. It's a nutrient-dense grain. It's used as a food in many geographies, as well as livestock feed and biofuel use. As a key strength and importance of sorghum is that it is uniquely adapted to higher temperatures and lower water environments. It can actually finish a crop with approximately 25% less water than a corn crop. With increasing temperatures and water limitations to water conservation, sorghum's an important global crop as we move forward. But unfortunately, as a smaller acre crop, it hasn't had the same level of research investment to develop tools within the plant to control yield-robbing pests such as weeds, insects, and diseases. S&W has chosen to focus on key crops that haven't received the benefit of significant and focused research investment, and we're utilizing advancements in science to bring significant step change to sorghum. Today, S&W has Double Team sorghum and 2 additional advanced traits launching this year, along with a strong pipeline to support S&W maintaining leadership in the sorghum industry globally for, I believe, a significant time to come.
Let's build off what you just said there in terms of Double Team, sort of expand on that, talk about the trait in some more detail and some of the benefits that it provides to customers.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's critical for everyone to understand just how special and unique Double Team sorghum solution truly is. It was launched in commercial scale in 2022. Double Team controls grassy weeds in sorghum that rob water, nutrients, and ultimately yield from the crop. Prior to 2022, due to the lack of efficient and effective weed control options in sorghum, farmers continue to bear the higher risk for yield and crop loss due to weed pressure. Other crops offered have options for weed control that ultimately led farmers to those crops. In many cases, they're less suited for the higher temperatures and lower water conditions, but provide tools to be able to manage other challenging production issues, such as managing pests. So we have seen historical declines in U.S. sorghum acres from in recent history around 10 million acres to around 6.5 million acres currently. In contrast, corn, soybeans, and cotton growers have all benefited from the research investments and advanced tools that now we see that we can bring to the sorghum crop and be able to utilize all its unique benefits with being able to produce a crop in higher temperatures with lower water.
And I think you mentioned something at the beginning. I just want to make sure I confirm this. So the double team market share sort of today, and maybe where you believe this will trend sort of in the upcoming years.
Yeah, it's actually been impressive, and we believed in S&W that would have high demand, but we had very low trial volumes in 2021, and that volume grew to that over $2 million of sales in 22. This last year, Double Team was on 6% of the U.S. acres. So, I mean, the exposure for what the program can do for farmers is significant. And the feedback as we're going into this 2023 harvest has been very, very positive. We believe it's going to earn its way onto about 10% of the U.S. sorghum acres this year, and we believe it'll continue to grow rapidly from there. This is a tremendous achievement and highlights the value and demand for innovation in this critical crop. This increase in penetration and adoption of Double Team and sorghum is similar to outpacing historical penetration trends in technologies launched of many of the large acre crops such as corn, soybeans, and cotton. And I can speak, in detail to corn trait adoption and herbicides. And right now, Double Team is outpacing it as far as penetration in the sorghum crop.
Excellent. Beyond sort of Double Team here, you've got additional traits in the pipeline. Sort of expand for us on what else is coming up next here.
Yeah, to me, it's very exciting. So S&W not only has been successful in launching a sorghum trait, but this year we really are moving forward to the next level with 2 additional traits. So Double Team forage sorghum will be launched that will allow grass control in forage sorghum production this year. We expect that we'll see the same rapid adoption for forage sorghum Double Team as we saw with grain sorghum. The early demand has been extremely strong, and we expect to sell out in its introductory year and continue on a penetration curve similar to what we've already seen with Double Team grain sorghum. Secondly, we have the pilot launch of our prussic acid-free trait for sorghum, what we previously called Durin-free. With thousands of acres being planted this year, as a background, Durin is a precursor to prussic acid, which is highly toxic to ruminant animals that feed on fresh sorghum forage. This, in essence, is what I would define as a feed safety or a quality trait that has great value for risk reduction and enabling early, safe livestock grazing of forage acres, which has significant value to farmers. With this pilot launch this upcoming year, we plan on commercially launching our prussic acid-free trait in the fall of 2024, so next year. And it'll initially be introduced as a solo trait, and then shortly thereafter as a stack trait with Double Team. So as you look at the pipeline, it also includes Double Team and prussic acid-free, as well as we're in the discovery stages with insect resistance and broad spectrum herbicides for sorghum as well.
Let's build off something that you just mentioned there in terms of a solo or silent versus a stack trait here, right? This idea of stacking traits, it's something that's been around for decades. Monsanto was probably really the innovator leader in this. In layman's terms for the audience, help investors understand the concept of stacking and how you anticipate utilizing the strategy to both expand market share, but also sort of the impact on margins.
No, that's great. Stack traits and why they're important really to the entire channel. As some of you may know, the biotech industry was really built on developing new traits that address a specific issue, either weed control, control of specific pest families, improved quality in others. And the industry has addressed each of these specific issues by providing valuable seed options to farmers through a stack trait offering in a single seed, which is beneficial. For farmers, there's the incremental value being created by each of the new traits that protect yield, decreases crop risk, increases crop quality and value, and saves them time and ultimately improve acre productivity and profitability, right? As such, seed companies can deliver increased value to farmers by stacking the traits versus forcing them to choose between one of the individual valued traits. Through research, investment, and productivity, we can increase the value delivered to farmers while seed production costs typically remain about the same. The net result is a margin and profit improvement per bag of seed for the farmer, because he's getting the benefit across more challenges. And it's also a benefit for the seed company, as you'll be able to deliver more value when really the production cost of that seed stays very similar. It really just emphasizes the importance of research and development investment to try to keep bringing more value to farmers and solve production issues.
Thank you for that. Let's sort of transition the discussion just a little bit here. Again, you recently came on July 1st of this year. One of the things that you've stated is the idea of providing best-in-class sort of operations for S&W here. Help listeners understand, what exactly does that mean, or what does that mean to you here?
It's interesting that the seed industry really isn't different than the challenges successful farmers or any other business face, right? Any inefficiencies reduce the results, and that comes right off the bottom line, right? And no business can expect customers to compensate for below excellent processes and efficiencies. So we're putting a heavy focus on benchmarking ourselves at all key seed industry performance metrics to ensure that we're operating S&W as a best in class with efficiency and cost management in the industry, right? This will ensure we have the resources to aggressively invest in research and add value to farmers and profitability to deliver positive returns to our shareholders. Any waste due to not effectively operating at best of class level with cost controls, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help farmers. It doesn't help our employees. It's not good for S&W, and it's not good for our shareholders. So it's really an effort that we're putting in place in all geographies, looking for and identifying how to measure ourselves against top benchmarks.
Perfect. I want to transition the discussion maybe again here. You mentioned at the beginning a sort of a partnership that you signed with Shell on the biofuels front. Sort of expand on that a little bit more if you could.
Yeah, to me, this is a really exciting venture with Shell, but S&W Seeds has been focused on developing biofuel cropping systems for some time that would allow farmers to add a third crop in a 2-year crop cycle. This can be an excellent revenue source for farmers, as well as provide valuable cover crop for erosion, soil health benefits as well. And it can also then be a great feedstuff for biofuels while not decreasing production of other crops. As such, earlier this year, we formed a JV partnership between S&W Seeds and Shell for the purpose of developing novel plant genetics for oilseed cover crops as a feedstuff for biofuels, green diesel, sustainable aviation fuels, and others. The JV is named Vision Bioenergy Oilseeds LLC, so VBO, and it intends to further develop camelina, where oil and meal can be extracted for further processing into biofuels, animal feed, and other bioproducts. On the biofuels front, there's not a lot we can expand on here, except to say the partnership is well on track from what was communicated. The entity VBO will carry out the initial grain production later this calendar year on more than 7,000 acres of Campbellina planted. And to this point, the partnership has met or exceeded all cropping acre thresholds that were originally laid out. And as been discussed in the past, Shell will buy all grain that VBO produces through an offtake agreement that's in place. So to me, it's a pretty exciting venture that has a lot of benefits across society.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Beyond, we've talked about sorghum. We've now talked about sort of your biofuel partnership with Shell. You have a large component of your operations focused on alfalfa and other forage products. These are primarily sold internationally. Australia is sort of your base of operations for that. Sort of on that note, you've also recently announced that the company was going through a process to look at unlocking value within these sort of international operations. Anything broadly you can discuss here?
Yeah, so we're looking at implementing the same strategies internationally as we are in the U.S. to drive growth and efficiencies. We're looking to optimize our production processes and capabilities to drive down cost of goods while developing a sales and marketing approach that highlights the benefits of our forage products around the world. While total results will be slightly higher, we do look for growth in our alfalfa and forage legume business. As has been the case, though, international operations for a few years, there are various factors that are largely outside of our control, namely the geopolitical risks in place in certain geographies and certain marketplaces that we do business in. That said, we're looking to limit those risks, especially when we think about our guidance for the year. We are placing minimal dependence on the riskiest markets for us to achieve our stated guidance going forward.
All right, perfect. Let's build off that last comment there, and maybe we'll sort of wrap up with this question here, which is, let's talk about your guidance for the year. You're looking at revenues between $76 and $82 million, gross margins of 24 to 26%. Again, that's compared to 20% gross margins last year. All of this sort of results in sort of continued improvement to adjusted EBITDA. Talk about the drivers and components to your outlook for fiscal 24. And again, as a reminder to everyone, it's a June 24 year end.
Yeah, so you are right. We're guiding revenue for 24 to be between 76 and 82 million. That represents about a 3 to 12% increase year over year from 23, where revenue was 73.5 million. Again, we have tried to take a conservative view of our international operations and believe the pathway to achieving our state objectives in the U.S. are achievable. Importantly, on the gross margin front, based on strategies we discussed and continued growth from Double Team, we see consolidated gross margin moving from that 20% in fiscal 2023 to between 24 and 26 in fiscal 2024. And further, we expect operating expenses to remain flat despite the growth in revenues. And the result right now in our guidance is 2 to 5.5 million improvement in our adjusted EBITDA compared to fiscal 2023. We know there's still work to be done, but feel good about the strategies being implemented to drive continuous growth and improvements across the organization, and are very excited about the pipeline of new products as we look to continued future growth.
All right, perfect. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time today. I hope everyone found some insight into this discussion here. I do want to remind everyone that if you've not already signed up for a one-on-one meeting and would like to do so, shoot me an email. Again, that's Blum, BLUM, at lythampartners.com. Visit the website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on that one-on-one meeting request button. We'll look to get you taken care of there. So again, Mark, thanks so much for your time today. We hope you all enjoy the conference.
Hey, thank you very much, Robert. I look forward to the one-on-one visits.